Can you believe that even with a 2-6 start to the season that the playoffs are still a possibility? And we get to find out in this episode if we are in or out in our first year taking over this franchise. I want to preface that even if we don't make the playoffs, I would appreciate if you guys just share in the comments section on how you would rebuild this team. And I also put a post on my channel to vote on which position we should consider drafting in the off season. But our focus and energy will be shifted to another NFC North opponent, and this year we've had tons of success being 3-0 against that division, and coming off our last episode beating both the Packers and Vikings. A fresh challenge today because we got the Bears to start and wrapping it up against the divisional rival Rams. And what a better way to finish the first season by testing our limits to see if we can make the playoffs, even through all the adversity we've been through. Caleb Williams is going to be the focus today in our first matchup, and this will be my first time witnessing how he plays in Madden. So I'm excited to see how he'll match up against our recently hot defense. On the other side, I don't know how he's not voted as a top 100 player, but we're going to need to play Jalen Johnson like he is one today, otherwise he'll capitalize on our mistakes. They will not have DJ Moore or Tyreek Stevenson participate in this matchup, so we'll see how that'll impact them in this game. I'm excited to see how this will all play out, and please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Seattle Seahawks Franchise. As Caleb Williams and the Bears will start with the football. Our defense will need to remain aggressive like they do here as Mafe adds another sack to his season. Williams luckily falls on top of that fumble, and on our first third down try, Howell will throw, and a bullet into the chest of Metcalf, and he'll drive his way forward for a new fresh set of downs. In the backfield is Zach Charbonnet with another start replacing the injured Walker. He gets the carry up the middle, lit up, and he puts it on the ground. Recovered by Chicago, and a turnover for the offense to start the game. Holding calls continue to haunt us, which is why it's an emphasis in the offseason. Here Williams' protection is good, and that tight window throw is completed to the veteran Keenan Allen. Still so wild how he was just traded randomly after being such a huge piece of that Chargers franchise, as Swift will walk into the end zone for the touchdown. Good blocking on the outside and a terrible angle by me using Nick Cross, and the Bears lead it 7-0. Not an ideal way to start a game against a team that just has 4 wins, but Charbonnet making up for his crucial mistake here with a big-time run. The ground game is what really gets our offense playing at a high level all season, but since Walker's injury, we've had some rough performances, but that's nicely done for back-to-back runs by Charbonnet. It's a split back set on 2nd and short. Howell reading the defense and finds Metcalf on that mesh route for a first down. He's a guy I really want to win the Super Bowl with one day, and having him as a lifer would be great, so hopefully it plays out that way. As Howell has space to run up the middle, he gets trucked before sliding and luckily maintains possession of the ball. Ever since naming him the starter, the rhythm of this offense has been more controlled, as he finds his favorite target again, and Lockett will fly into the end zone for a touchdown. I get why Seahawks fans love this guy. Even with all the receiving options on this team, his consistency gives us confidence to continue to give him the ball. 7-7 game. Our defensive line needs to add more pressure to this rookie QB. They run an RPO. Williams floats it high, and the jump ball is caught by Odunze, who breaks free of Pritchett. He gallops his way up the numbers, and he's gonna house this for a touchdown. 70 yards. This was mano y mano. The safeties were protecting the middle of the field, and then all roads lead to Rome, and a free lane up the numbers for 6. This team is addicted to giving up explosive plays. It's expected at this point as Howell trying one for us and caught by JSN. He'll be taken down from behind. But what a way to get us to the 2-minute mark. Howell now snapping from the pistol. Can't find anyone. Gonna scramble and taken down for a gain of 3. Howell isn't a big-time athlete, but he's got enough speed to sneak up on you. As this pass is intercepted. It's Jalen Johnson. He's got green grass in front of him and running down the sidelines. Johnson walking easily for a pick 6. Bears go up by 2 scores. Sam Howell felt that the flat was the safest route to throw here, but we just did not see Jalen Johnson lurking the whole way through. and he jumps it easily all the way to the house. This first half really got out of hand in the blink of an eye, and things don't get better here as the line couldn't hold its protection for Howell. Final few seconds here. Howell stepping up, launching this for JSN again. He's got him! He's got a clear lane but won't risk it running out of bounds. 1 second left to close the gap, and Myers' kick from 45 hits the post and bounce goes our way to make it an 11-point game. Even that's not easy as we jump ahead to the middle of the second half, and Howell can't connect with Metcalf, and it's 4th down. But the offense stays on the field, needing something to happen here, but the coverage is great, and the pressure will get to him again. Turnover on downs. Caleb Williams will step back onto the field to capture his 5th career win. His check down pass is picked off. Devin Witherspoon has his 2nd of the year, and finally the play we've been searching for all game long has gone our way. Witherspoon originally backed up, reads and explodes through the route, no picks all season, and he has his 2nd in 3 games. We got the play we needed, but can this drive finish with points? Here's a screen to McIntosh, cutting it back inside, and hit for a gain of 5. So no touchdown, but a field goal can make it an 8-point game. Myers' kick from 42, slices too far right and it's no good. It remains a 2-possession game, and the rookie Williams has a chance to pile it on. He takes a deep shot near sidelines and caught by Tyler Scott and taking this to the 30-yard line. Williams now from the gun, handoff to Swift up the middle, shakes by 1 and powers through for another 10. Bears well in control to really put the icing on the cake, as this pass is knocked away by the diving Woolen. Nice play, and they add 3 more. It's just a 2-score game, but it feels like we're down by 50. And more pressure attacks as Howell gets swallowed up again. This Chicago defense has been surprisingly more challenging than I expected from a 4-win team. And they just played with more heart than us today. Williams just trying to put the finishing touches on this one. He gets it off in time and finds Keenan Allen for a massive gain, breaking free of Woolen and taking this all the way inside the 20. There's not much to say at this point. They just flat out outplayed us and gave us a beatdown. As Williams fires to the end zone, and he's got Odunze for his 2nd of the game. I know I always pick on Tariq Woolen, but he doesn't even make an effort to make a play on the ball here. The rest of the game was pretty much the same. It was a struggling offense that had no rhythm and will make me weep for days. And taking a big-time beatdown by a rookie quarterback who has his way with us today. And that's the 3rd-string tight end Steven Carlson, by the way, with the score. It was so bad that I couldn't even celebrate our positives, like Devin Witherspoon's 2nd interception of the game. He was the only guy that decided to show up and ball out in this one. But that did lead us to getting 1 more touchdown drive in, and Charbonnet would find a way to put up another 6 on the board so we can walk out with some dignity. This was such a tough one to swallow in a game that we really needed, but our guys just came out flat, and I think we were a bit too overconfident coming into this game because of our success against the NFC North and facing a rookie QB. Sam Howell just barely threw over 50%, and that pick 6 would ultimately deflate our entire team. Charbonnet had a better outing, but he too fumbled on the first play of the game. I should have known from then we couldn't play careless football. Metcalf led in receptions, but we were relying too heavily on the big plays and couldn't put ourselves in easier situations. The offensive line didn't do us any favors as well. We were taken down 5 times in the backfield and twice on the right side. The defense just didn't show up. They didn't really have a chance to since we turned over the ball a bunch, but the big plays just kept us from ever making a legitimate comeback in this game, and we were unable to maximize all of Devin Witherspoon's efforts. This was a tough loss, as all of them are, and it's expected in the first year of a rebuild. We're still trying to get a feel for this team and figuring out what will work for us when we jump into the second season. This is still a mid-tier team, which is why they were so intriguing to rebuild, but I thought the first year would present a playoff opportunity with the talent on this roster. And as wild as this seems, there is still a chance. because the 7th seed belongs to the Rams and they are sitting at 8-8. With a win and an Eagles loss, we may actually be able to do this. But this will mean stopping Puka Nacua again, and if you watched the first time we played him, you would recall how he smoked our secondary, going for a $170 with 3 touchdowns. And if there's any hope of getting to the playoffs, it starts with stopping him. And it also means getting Kenneth Walker back onto the field since we are still in playoff contention. It's not ideal to make the playoffs with 9 losses, but it's been done before, and actually by this very Seahawks team at one point back in 2010. So let's get back to the race as we find a way to pick up a win here in SoFi Stadium. We'll pick this up on the second drive for Seattle. Howell will find Walker over the middle. Running game has been a slow start, but it's nice to see Walker still being a reliable option through the air. And there's the tackle for loss. Defensive lines for both teams off to a good start, including Byron Murphy, who has an early sack in this game. Howell now zips this across, and a strike to Metcalf, who will cross the marker for a new fresh set of downs. Metcalf well over 1,000 yards, and he'll deserve tons of credit if we make the playoffs. As Charbonnet makes a move in the backfield and knifing his way through to keep the chains moving. He's been a great second option to Walker and a big part of our win against the Packers a couple of games ago. And now he's wrapped up with a flag on the play. It's gonna be holding, but unfortunately also on the play, Charbonnet was injured and ruled out for the remainder of this game. Now from the pistol, design screen, but Howell going for the streak, and that's underthrown to JSN, the intended receiver. We gotta find ways to finish in the red zone in must-win games, but Howell gets crushed from the blind side, and the drive will only end with a field goal try. Jason Myers centered from 46, and his kick is good for the early lead. But the question is which defense we'll see in this game. Is it the one against the Bears or the Packers? And it might be the latter as Murphy has his second of the game. I'm loving what I'm seeing from his first year. He may not win Rookie of the Year, but the future is bright. As the screen is sniffed out by Tyrell Dotson playing with a chip on his shoulder, still in search of a new contract. And another screen the other way, and how about Dotson going after it again, finishing this drive with an exclamation point. Terrific start by the defense, forcing the second punt by the Rams, as this kick is returnable. Tyquan Thornton looking for space going left, and a decent return as they start from the 38. This team has shown they go as far as the defense takes them, as Howell hits Lockett in stride, trying to outrun 2 Rams. Does he have the speed? Tackled and into the end zone. What a start and what a season it has been for the young 31-year-old Tyler Lockett, and he remains the go-to guy for Sam Howell. And this was a simple screw it, Tyler Lockett is somewhere down there, and it's the speed of Lockett that was the impressive part of this play. Couldn't have asked for a better first half by this defense. They've certainly made the proper adjustments from the last time these two met, as Kupp has his first catch and he'll be pushed out of bounds for 9. Third and short, going to the ground. It's Blake Corum who lowers his shoulder to get just enough for the first down. Didn't get to see much from the rookie running back the first time around, but here he is again, and this time sniffed out by Tyrese Knight to bring them to a 3rd and long situation. Tyrese Knight has been a fun player to watch since we gave him more playing time. He has all the tools it takes to be a good linebacker, as this 3-man rush just can't get to Stafford. He's got all day to throw and nearly makes us pay for it. Chaotic, but this will end with a field goal try. The rookie Josh Riccardi from 50, right down the middle, and it's now a touchdown game. Final 2 minutes of the first half, and things have been working out pretty well so far. Not for Walker as he's wrapped up for no gain. It's been a tough day returning from injury. Gotta find a way to get him going. As Howell gets out of a tackle, being chased, and he's got enough speed to take this past the 40. Sam Howell showing off his athleticism. Second down now, working from the gun. 4-man rush by the Rams. Over the middle, there is Metcalf again to get 5 on the play. Such an easy guy to target with his size, strength, and speed. Howell going to him again, and now displaying some strong hands as he snatched that in traffic. Offense in another smooth rhythm. Dumped off to Lockett. He looks for the soft spot and has it to push them near the 10. 3rd and goal as they look to punch this in for the second time. four-man rush by the Rams. Howell holding on to it too long, and the rush gets to him. Jared Verse, the rookie out of Florida State, with the sack, and the field goal team will trot back out. Myers' kick will sneak right in to make it a 10-point game going into the locker room. This is a very good half by our team. The defense holding them to just 3 points was not what I envisioned, but I'm glad I was wrong by the way they've shown up so far. We need more points on the board, and we'll see if they can close it out. It's gonna have to start up front by getting the run game going and keeping the pocket clean. We're just 2 quarters away from our first playoff berth, but we won't get it there if we can't stop him. Nakua has been quiet all game, but erupted when it matters most for this Rams offense. Now a play fake and a bullet to the right side. That's Tutu Atwell with the grab, and this is the most effective drive for them and the first sign of vulnerability shown by our defense, as that catch is made and Higbee will get them another 7. Under 6 to go as the Rams have controlled the time of possession, and the end zone pass is nearly intercepted by Nick Cross, but he couldn't hold on. Another drop pick. Run left side, and Corum has nowhere to go. Tyrese Knight with the big TFL, and he was just unblocked, leaving a free lane to finish the play. Nicely done by the rookie. Field goal team comes on, and Cardi makes it a touchdown game. The rest of the third quarter didn't fall to our favor. We tried to get Walker going, but it's been a rough day against this young defensive line, and this drive costed us JSN, who was injured on the play, so his day is also done. We definitely wanted to push the gas pedal on this game, but it's tough to do anything when you're dealing with these tough third and long situations. We need to keep relying on our defense, and they really held their own today, as Stafford opts to toss this out of bounds. Interesting third down decision will lead to yet another punt by the Rams. Tyquan Thornton again with the return, going left, and he'll be dragged down by his arm for only a short gain. Sam Howell and company will start from the 15. Metcalf in the slot as they operate from the gun. Howell taking a shot to Metcalf, and it's intercepted! The throw never got there as Darius Williams comes away with the biggest play of the game. Rare mistake by Sam Howell will put this lead in jeopardy, as Nakua has another big catch slicing through the defense to bring it down to the 4. That time Pritchett unable to keep up with that route, as this throw to the end zone is disrupted by Tyrese Knight, who's been all over the place today. Stafford now working from the gun on third down. He goes over the middle, and it's caught for the touchdown. Cooper Kupp finds the end zone, and what was once a 10-point lead is a point away from a tie game. One-on-one with the safety Julian Love is never a matchup I ever want to see again. Seattle shot themselves in the foot with the turnover, but winning this game is still at hand, as Howell finds a wide open man downfield. That is Laviska Shenault with the rare catch, filling in for the injured JSN, and now in need of a conversion on third down. And the rush is just too much. They sent the blitz and it wasn't picked up, so we'll rely on Myers' leg again. Kick is up, and it goes wide left. And a stinger late in the fourth quarter as the Rams have all the momentum on their side. As Stafford gets brought down again. Byron Murphy have a game with number 3 on Stafford. Defense forces another third and long. 4-man rush. Stafford trying to get it all back, and it's off the hands of Tariq Woolen, installing the Rams offense again. Final minute and a half, and all can be forgiven if this drive ends with points, as Howell fires for Lockett, but excellent coverage and a play on the ball. Needing to get to the 40, Rams send the blitz. Howell slings it right side, and another nice play on the ball. Rams secondary all over Lockett, and they'll be forced to punt from this spot of the field. Dixon hammers this deep into Los Angeles territory, and it'll be returned behind the 15. Trying to get away from the tackle, but a nice takedown by Pritchett to finish the play. We've had Matt Stafford's number in this one, but can our defense come up big with one more stand? As they start with a pass, it's swung out to Kupp, and he'll take Dotson's ankles and escort himself out of bounds for 4. Good start with just a little over a minute to go. Stafford now throwing with conviction, and hits Higbee, and Love takes a bad angle but tracks him down at midfield. Brutal game by the Rams, and we may be in panic mode. Single high look with a minute to go. Play is set up and it's a screen, and Williams gets wrapped up by none other than Byron Murphy, who's been having a monster game. Going with more tempo, quick toss to the streak, and a nice job there by Witherspoon to knock it down, as pressure is mounting for both sides of the field. Working from the gun on 3rd and long, Stafford fires a bullet, and the fastball is caught by Tutu Atwell, and he'll be tackled a yard short of the marker. Defense does just enough, but can they get one more as the Rams go for it? Quick toss to the outside, and it's caught for the first down. Nacua has made some big catches in this second half, but none holds more weight than this 1-yard gain, leading to this ice Josh Riccardi kick. From 58 yards, the 6th-round rookie will send the Rams to the playoffs. A massive heartbreak for the Seattle Seahawks in this game, where they had full control in the first half, and the defense having one of its best performances all season, but they still come up one play too short. Sam Howell did not have the game we expected him to have, and a completely different story seeing the Rams for the second time. The ground game was a non-factor, and it's really because of our guys up front struggling to hold their blocks, and credit to the revamped defensive line for the Rams. Only 13 completions were made, and half of them went to Metcalf, but it was only Tyler Lockett who was the lone wolf finding the end zone, and a tough break losing JSN in the middle of the game. Defense was outstanding, and it was the best I've ever seen them play, and they did all they could to keep us in the game and even run away with it, but we couldn't capitalize on Byron Murphy's 3-sack game. This will mean that the offseason is officially here, and it's a damper moment not being able to play in the postseason, but there's some excitement as well to get this franchise turning over a new leaf. Over the last 4 games of the season, I saw a lot of things that I liked, and I think that'll impact how I adjust this roster in the offseason. But it still hurts knowing that we had a shot to make it, and it's even more of a sting when you realize everyone in our division made it but us. It's gonna be an interesting offseason because we have no money, probably a middle pick in the draft, and a team that only managed to pick up 7 wins. My mind is headed towards a total rebuild, but that may just be an overreaction from this tough episode. But make no mistake, this roster does need a lot of work, especially in the trenches, and we might have to make some tough moves if we want to right this ship. But for now, that will be all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for all your support and getting through a tough first season with me in this Seattle Seahawks franchise. I believe the second year will include more forks in the road than smooth sailing, but I guess we'll have to wait and see in the off-season episode. I will get a head start though by ending this video with firing both of our coordinators. We simply need a clean start, and it starts now. I left a community post on my channel that you guys can check out that had a question on which position we should pick in the upcoming draft. It's not going to be for a quarterback, I know that much for sure, so it'll be cool to hear your thoughts and suggestions. But thank you guys so much again. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment on your thoughts and give me some feedback on how to make this series more entertaining. I'll go through the postseason this weekend, and the off-season episode will be posted on Tuesday. So I'll give you guys some time to let me know your thoughts. But until then, I'm Monkey C, and I'm out.